welcome to the show. My name is T, and we are talking scary movies. I appreciate you tuning in for another brand new review. Remember, every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'm going to have some new movie news, I'm going to have an opinion piece, or have a good interview for you all to check out. But throughout the week, I am dropping reviews for everything in the world of horror, movies, TV shows, games, books, whatever. I'm trying to cover it all in the best way that you can stay on top of everything that I'm dropping. The reviews and my Wednesday episodes is to get subscribed to my Linktree. And you can do that by going to linktr.ee/T Scary Movie. If you get subscribed to my Linktree, that's going to give you access to the YouTube page for the video versions of the show, your favorite podcasting platforms, the audio only versions of the show, to my Letterboxd page for my written reviews and my movie rankings throughout the year, to my TikTok page for my short horror content including movie news and movie premieres, to my Twitch page where you can catch my horror gaming, and to my Fangoria shop page where you can enjoy my 20% off discount anything in the Fangoria shop, including a subscription to the physical magazine for a year. Take advantage of that there, y'all. Hit that subscribe button, especially if you're watching on YouTube, as more followers I get, the more content I can put out for all of you. And got so much great stuff coming up here for you in the month of August. July has been a true treat. Folks, we're in the thick of it right now, to where we're just getting release after release after release after release of great horror content. And it's a lot of fun because I think that even when I was younger, I associated horror and like new horror especially coming out during the fall, September, October, maybe a little bit of November. And in truth, horror really thrives in the summer as well. I'm not saying there aren't releases that would have done better. We look back the last couple of years and films like Cobweb, films like Haunted Mansion would have done much better coming out in October as opposed to in the heart of summer. There's no denying about that at all, but it doesn't change the fact that these are still fantastic films that we're getting. We're in a good streak of horror over this summer here right now, and there's still so much more left to go. We got Trap coming out this week. We got Cuckoo coming out, I think it's next week, and then we got Alien Romulus coming out the week after that, all to set up for the fall. We haven't even hit fall yet, y'all. We have so much horror goodness coming out. Don't want you to miss anything, so hit that subscribe button so you're not missing any of the horror content that I'm bringing to all of you. So what are we talking about here tonight, y'all? It's Tuesday, and you know what that means, folks. We are jumping back into the immortal universe. Last week, I started my coverage of Mayfair Witches. We got done looking over Season 1, Episode 1 of the show, and it's time to crack into Episode 2. Now, remember, Episode 1 introduced us to Rowan, who is learning that she has these powers that apparently allow her to harm somebody once she gets a little bit too emotional. So whether that's anger, whether that's lust, whatever the case is, when Rowan's feeling all these emotions, that's when these powers begin to manifest themselves. And we find out that for a while, she was raised by her adoptive mother, Elena, who always told her a different story about her birth parents and where she came from. Elena eventually passed away, which of course makes Rowan curious about where she came from. And it kind of left us off in a spot here for Episode 1 to where Rowan's mother, Deirdre, has finally awoken. The demonic entity Lasher that hides out in her dreams and is kind of manipulating events in the real world is helping her, but there's a nefarious tinge to Lasher's machinations. So let's see where things are going here in Episode 2. Now, one of the things that from the jump is so big in this show is the gaslighting. Rowan doesn't know a lot about her history, and the information she's been told is obviously mostly lies. We know Elena cares for Rowan for sure, but that doesn't change the fact that probably everything that she told her about her life and her past is a fabrication. And that continues even after Elena's death, as Rowan's trying to find out where she came from. She contacts the adoption agency, which we know that's not where Rowan ultimately came from, trying to get information on her birth parents, and finds out that the agency wasn't even around till years after Rowan would have been adopted in the first place, and therefore she knows that Elena was lying to her. And we've seen Rowan already in a spiral that she deals with her life with alcohol and with men, and just with not accepting a lot of things head on. She pours herself into her work, and that's how she lives her life. And that is unfortunately not a way you can really keep up with it, especially in her case, because when Rowan is in this kind of state, she's more liable to fuck up using her powers and hurt somebody. Like, that is honestly something that could end up happening. And unfortunately, it kind of does happen in this episode as well, because Rowan is getting these dreams about Lasher and about her mother and about her past, and Elena as well too. She's seeing all these things in her dreams, and we know there's all these forces who seemingly have an eye on Rowan right now as well too. Cyprian Graves, who is the Talamasca agent who has the ability of sight, has been keeping eyes on her and wants to get a little bit more involved, feeling that she's in more danger because she doesn't know about her past. And of course the Talamasca is telling Cyprian, like, hey, you know, like, if you tell her this will absolutely put her in danger, and that it's easier if she doesn't know anything because maybe she won't find something, versus you telling her and she immediately just jumps all in, which is exactly what happens, because Cyprian Graves, of course, just has to tell Rowan what her past is, what her life is, and approaches Rowan with this information. Rowan freaks out. Cyprian Graves ends up having some kind of, I don't know, a shock, basically. Like, I don't know if it's a heart attack or whatever, but she knocks Cyprian Graves out when he's overloaded by her power. And later on, she steals his phone and finds the connections with her mother, with Elena, and knows that she has to go to New Orleans. The one thing that Cyprian and the Talamasca was trying to avoid Rowan from doing was going to New Orleans, because they knew that this would end up connecting her back to Lasher. And what we've seen from Lasher in this episode so far is that he's got a real interest in Rowan. And there's some assumptions we can make. And those y'all who have read the books, those y'all who have obviously finished this season, you're going to know a lot more than me. This is obviously assumptions coming from what I've seen, and that's it. That's all I have to work on here in this point. I have to assume that Lasher is trying to find a way to physically manifest himself in our world, or in the world of, you know, these characters. And it's somehow tied to the Mayfair Witches, who have been trying to keep Lasher at bay. And through Deirdre, Rowan's mother, he was about to find a way to get out, and unfortunately, due to the pregnancy of Rowan, that somehow kept Lasher stuck to the other world, the other realm, whatever you want to call it at that point. And we see that he wants to meet Rowan, and he maybe wants Deirdre to be reunited with Rowan as well too, but there's a lust in there from Lasher to Rowan as well. And it's not missed on me the fact that he tells Deirdre that he's already visited Rowan in her dreams. Not long after that, Deirdre, who is finally awoken from this coma at this point, has sex with Lasher in a pretty steamy sex scene that Rowan is also like living through as it's happening too. And you know, witches, we don't know is it because it's blood magic, because a lot of witches do use blood magic in their lives. Is it because Rowan and Deirdre are mother and daughter? Is that why Rowan's experienced this as well too? Is it Lasher using his magic to make Rowan know like the pleasure and ecstasy that he's bringing along? Like, there's a lot of questions there from that connection of just something as simple as sex, honestly. But I had a lot of thoughts going through that while that's going on, and Rowan's having her very loud orgasm on a plane while, you know, people are sleeping around her. So rude. It's probably like 2 a.m, Rowan. Like, go to sleep, girl. I'm kidding. Do you now? But the fact that we do see like what Lasher is trying to do to kind of like approach Rowan, and Deirdre stops him. And to me, that ties in very much to the end of the episode, because all this episode really showed me was that Lasher really does have plans for Rowan. And those plans, like, that has to be the truth given the end of this episode. Because no matter what, whether Lasher is behind what ultimately ends up going down or not, he's going to have to turn his eyes to Rowan. So if he didn't plan this out, he at least knows he's going to have to use her for some means. And I'm curious as to what that is. Now, Rowan does end up in New Orleans and is on her way to meet with Deirdre. And Deirdre, who ends up meeting Carlotta, one of the Mayfairs, who tells her that she needs to go back home, she should not be here, and that if she's awake, Lasher is awake as well too. And thus far, what we've seen of the Mayfairs is not good. They've been presented in a very, very negative, a very, very nefarious light, at least to me, thus far. And that could all be subterfuge, because the first time I watched this episode probably 3 times at this point now. And the first time I watched it, I was like, God damn it, Carlotta, stay out of the way. You're always interfering. It's been 2 episodes, Carlotta. Stay the fuck out of the way. Like she's like Samuel L. Jackson for whatever reason in Django Unchained, just like, ugh. Just like looking from the sidelines, plotting and scheming, it feels. But then you watch it a second or a third time, and when you start really thinking about Lasher, at least across these first couple episodes, and what it seems like they're implying that he is behind, is Carlotta scheming? Or what has what she's been doing a means to the end to keep something even worse from invading our world and causing even worse problems, not just for the Mayfairs, not just for Rowan, not just for the Telemasca, but for everybody. And I kind of get the feeling that that's where we're going here with this, and that we're going to get a nice little face turn from Carlotta a little bit later on in the season, and we find out realistically the reason why she was caring for Deirdre the way that she was. So who knows? But unfortunately for Deirdre, she's not going to be able to see all those things from the mortal plane, as this episode ended with Deirdre and Rowan ending up at the I'm trying to read this. The Pontchartrain. Oh, that sounded good. The Pontchartrain. And at that, now I butcher it. She ends up at the same hotel. Rowan and Deirdre end up at the same hotel to finally meet each other. They've communicated. They're going to make it happen. And then as Rowan enters the elevator to go and find her mother, finds her dead in the elevator, her throat slashed, no suspects around at all. Now, across these 2 episodes, there are more than enough red herrings for who this can end up being. We have no clue who is behind Deirdre's murder at this point. Lasher probably couldn't have physically done it, but did Lasher push somebody else to do it? Did Rowan somehow do it in the state that she's in? Because we know she's using her powers when she's stressed. Is this somehow a new example of her powers manifesting themselves? Did Carlotta do it? Did the Telemasca do it? Did somebody else? Like, these are the questions that we have here at the end of this episode. And all I know is that I can feel in my bones that Lasher is a bitch, and I'm going to end up hating him more than I ever thought possible by the end of this season. That's all I know. I know he's gonna make a move on Rowan, and I'm not down with that, trying to get the mom and trying to get the daughter at all. You're a bitch, Lasher. You're a bitch. Don't like you at all, Lasher. Jack Houston is so good, though. He's so good. But I don't know. I am left. I'm left with some questions, honestly, in regards to who's behind it. There's not enough evidence, because I think all the evidence right now would really point towards Carlotta, and I don't think she's the one that clearly went and did this. It has to be Lasher involved somehow as his way of getting Deirdre out the way so he can just have Rowan. Maybe Rowan's more powerful. Who knows? But a good episode. I'm still enjoying Mayfair Witches right now, y'all. I'm excited to see where this season pans out to. So, again, your chance to win a Tall Man Funko Pop that I'm giving away for any videos here in the month of July that you commented on. I want you to tell me in the comment section. And again, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it for me, y'all. Come on, be cool, be cool. Who do you think killed Deirdre? Who is behind Deirdre's death here in episode 2 of Mayfair Witches? Let me know in the comment section for a chance to win a Tall Man Funko Pop. That's going to do it for us tonight, though, y'all. I appreciate you tuning in. Hit that subscribe button. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be talking about all the great stuff we have coming in August and what you need to be on the lookout here for. And then, folks, as I finish up our Full Moon Terror with The Howling, we're going to begin looking more into the Alien franchise, too, and Trap. So, hit that subscribe button. My name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared. Boy here is a big fan of Fangoria. So, if you want to check out the world's best horror magazine that's out there, get a chance to get yourself your own subscription, which I just got my first one back in 2022, and I don't regret it for a second. But if you want your own Fangoria subscription, or you like the Fangoria merchandise, then head over to the Fangoria shop and use my link if you want to save yourself some money, folks. That's an easy one to remember. Just go to shop.fangoria.com/AXDEW. Again, that's shop.fangoria.com/AXDEW, or use my specific code AXDEW at checkout. You can save 20% off your entire order, and that implies 2 subscription and one-time orders as well. You don't want to miss out, folks, because with the magnitude of horror movies we've had released in the last few years, and with what we have on the horizon, Fangoria is going to be your #1 source for all that great, juicy, bloody information in the world of horror. So again, head to shop.fangoria.com. Hey there, folks! Thanks for tuning in to Watch This Scary Movie. I appreciate you checking out another review or movie news, whether we're talking movies, TV shows, books, or games, whatever, it's all scary. Remember, you can check out new episodes every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on the YouTube page for video. That's youtube.com/C/Theron Reynolds Scary Movie. Again, youtube.com/C/Theron Reynolds Scary Movie. And you can check out the audio version on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Just search T Watch the Scary Movie or TWASM. Don't forget, my name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.